Hi, everyone. Welcome to the PoliticAL update with me, Alexandra Acker-Lyons. I pay attention to the political news so you don't have to. This is the advice I give my millionaire clients, and you get it for free. It is Monday, January 26th. We are a little delayed in getting PoliticAL out this week because the whole fam was sick. We had colds, we had GI things, everything's going around. Colorado finally got cold, finally got snow. Everyone's been kind of bundled inside. But I also may experiment with doing this on different days of the week because, as we have seen, as there is no such thing as an off year, there's kind of no such thing as a weekend with slow news. So everything's been crazy for a long time. Okay, getting into it. Candidate news. Senator Amy Klobuchar filed the initial paperwork to run for governor of Minnesota. We expect a formal announcement from her any minute, any day, very, very soon. And I will come back to talking about Minnesota in a minute, but I just think in this moment it's really important that we ensure not only that there continues to be a Democratic governor in Minnesota, but that there is strong, competent leadership in that state because they're going to need it. Also in Minnesota, on the Republican side, former NBC Sunday Night Football reporter Michelle Tafoya has announced for the Senate there. This has not changed the rating. It is still rated likely D, but she is, a higher profile candidate. I don't think I realized that different days of football had different reporters. I guess that makes sense because they're on different channels now, but not really a sports gal. So she is well known in the community, but we still feel very, very good about Democrats keeping that seat. In Florida, State Rep Angie Dixon announced for the Senate seat there on the Democratic side. Very, very hard for Democrats. We have not been able to recruit a top tier candidate there in some time. We just don't have a huge bench. I don't know much about Angie Dixon, but I will look into more about her and, do what we can to try to help make this viable. Also, former Nebraska State Senator Lynn Waltz, who is a very distant cousin of Tim Waltz, announced her bid as a Democrat for governor of Nebraska. This is, again, one of those red states that is getting purpler, a state where we need to try to be competitive. She seems like a great candidate. I know a bunch of people who are actively supporting her, and so hoping that we can put that governor's race in play. And then Bill Hill, so fun, announced his independent bid for the Alaska at-large congressional seat. Again, related to Mary Peltola running, related to the cross-partisan coalition government that they have in the state legislature there. I think an independent running in Alaska makes a ton of sense. He is a terrific candidate. Again, know lots of folks in Alaska who are really excited about him. So all the stars may align there. Of course, want to kind of get to the primary news of the week, which is just the horrors we have been seeing in Minnesota, coupled with the incredible response from the people of Minnesota. So, of course, just the terrible shooting over the weekend, the pictures earlier in the week of Liam Ramos being used as bait and essentially kidnapping him and taking him to Texas. ICE is completely out of control. Even Republicans are starting to see it and say it. The needle is moving on public opinion here. And it's just awful to watch. It is overwhelming. It is heartbreaking. And the people of Minnesota have responded with almost uniformly nonviolent protests, vigils, turning out in negative 13 degrees in massive numbers to say this is not okay. And I I know that there have been some solidarity protests all across the country. Thank you to Indivisible and other groups who have been organizing that. We just have to keep showing up. We have to keep doing everything we can. We have to be, boycotting the Minnesota-based companies. It kills me to have to boycott Target, but we need to all do our part and stand in solidarity, because this might be the moment. This might be the thing. This might be the thing that breaks the fever. Even if it's not, it is horrible, and we have to continue to speak out. Similarly, we saw that with Greenland, right? Taco Trump always chickens out and got a deal with Greenland for essentially what we have right now, in part because he saw the polling that showed that this was incredibly unpopular, including with his base. So, gravity exists, and we have to start making some of these crazy things come back to Earth. Okay, and then 2028 has begun. There has been a lot of movement from some of the potential 2028 candidates. I want to note, we saw at the end of last year, Michelle Obama gave an interview where she said she didn't think the United States was ready for a female president. Lots of people have kind of weighed in pro and con. I very strongly disagree. I do think we're ready for a female president. I don't want us to go into 2028 saying, well, the last two women lost, so we shouldn't nominate a woman again. I don't believe that's why Kamala lost. Obviously, racism and sexism played a part, but I don't think it was, a huge overriding factor. And Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, herself a potential presidential candidate, came out and said she does think the country is ready for a female president. So I agree. And there are lots of people doing more research on this, more to come. Josh Shapiro's new book is out, and there's a story in The Atlantic about how politicos in Pennsylvania don't like him. Yup. As someone who lived in Pennsylvania when he was just starting his career, when he was on the short list being considered by Kamala, I reached out to her team and said, call some women in Pennsylvania and see what they think of Josh Shapiro. No doubt that he's a skilled politician. No doubt that he's very smart. He's a good governor. He's also kind of a jerk. So not a big shock there. Mark Kelly has made more than $1 million in donations to national party committees as well as state parties. This is a really smart strategic move to buy you some goodwill. He has been able to have a tremendous couple of weeks fundraising off of the Trump administration's investigation into him and potentially demoting him in status because of the video that he and others made reminding people that they don't have to follow unlawful orders. So Elizabeth Warren did this when she ran for president. She also did that this year where she distributed money to state parties. Sadly, she has taken herself out of 2028 contention. But, this is just a smart political move in general, and certainly smart if you were thinking of running for president. Senator Chris Murphy has been kind of everywhere on the ICE stuff. He's a really strong communicator. He's really good at social media. He endorsed Mallory McMorrow for Michigan Senate this week, and so kind of did a bunch of social media around that too. And then former White House Chief of Staff, former Congressman, former Chicago Mayor, Rahm Emanuel has also been kind of everywhere. He's been touring rural areas and then going on elite podcasts to brag about it. He's very smart. I've listened to a bunch of these podcasts. I agree with a lot of what he's saying. We shall see. Everyone's off to the races already. My shout out of the week goes to all the people in Minnesota standing up, speaking out, especially people who have not done this before. I think we've all seen some of them in media and elsewhere, standing up for their communities and their neighbors, and it's important. And thank you. Bye.